Hello everyone, my name is Infinity and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course the law of attraction. But lately on this channel, we've been talking a lot about twin flames. The reason for this is because I felt really guided into this work, into sharing about twin flame material. I do like to explore many different topics of spirituality, and I do have several other non-twin flame videos on my channel, but I just keep consistently finding myself guided back into sharing this information. And I feel that there truly is a divine reason for this. I feel that on the planet, collectively, in this moment, there are so many twin flames awakening, waking up not just to their connection, to the truth of the twin flame connection, but also waking up within themselves, waking up to their authentic self, to who they destined themselves to be prior to incarnating in this lifetime here on this planet. And of course, as a twin flame, those two awakenings go together because usually as a twin, we either begin to awaken just prior to physically meeting our twin flame, or meeting them sparks our spiritual awakening. But that spiritual awakening and the twin flame connection often go, or I should say always as a twin flame, will you have a spiritual awakening. So those two things will always go hand in hand if you are a twin flame. So with that being said, I also just feel like before getting into this video, I want to talk about the accelerated life path that you chose. And this was just a random thought that I was struck with today. But I feel that it was some kind of an energetic download from the collective twin flame community, this feeling of restlessness, this feeling of confusion as to why your life at times seems to be so chaotic, so confusing. I feel that many of you listening have gone through immense amounts of change and transformation in your life in a very short time. And I know that collectively on a planetary level, we've been experiencing these shifts, changes, and transformations, obviously, especially within the last year. But I'm talking even more than that. I'm talking you have gone through more change than almost anyone you know. And of course, I'm not talking about everyone listening, but I just feel that there's at least one person listening who has gone through these huge transformations that just seem confusing, chaotic. And you need to know that you chose this, that the reason you're experiencing this accelerated change is because you chose this path of accelerated growth. You essentially chose the fast track to finding your soul purpose, to achieving some kind of soul evolution and upliftment of collective consciousness in this lifetime. And that is why everything sometimes seems to be moving too fast for you. That's also why for those of you who tend to feel anxious or restless, feeling as though you're not doing enough or not moving fast enough, the reason is because you are energetically sensing that the energy of your life is moving so fast, that you are on this accelerated path. So in contrast, if you have a day where you may be less productive or you may be just needing to rest or rejuvenate, because of the contrast between your accelerated soul path and soul growth energetically and that physical non-movement of that particular day, you may feel restlessness or anxiety. And if you are experiencing this, I just want you to know this is completely normal, completely natural. There's nothing wrong with you. There is nothing going wrong within you, within your life. And I just felt that someone listening to this needed to hear that. That's not even really related to what we're talking about in this video at all, but I just know that someone will connect with this information. So now getting into the topic of today's video, I really want to discuss the difference between soulmates, twin flames, and karmic connections. I've done videos on this in the past, but I feel guided to create a brand new video on this subject just because I know that many of those videos have gotten buried, and I uploaded them a while ago, and you know that I upload pretty frequently. So I know some of you haven't heard that information. But beyond that, I feel as though because we are all collectively growing, evolving, and awakening so quickly, especially within the twin flame planetary community, so to speak, there is already new information, because every time we expand collectively, there is more new information we are downloading, new information to be shared, to be understood. So I feel ready to elaborate on these differences. And I'm also making this video because many of you are new to the concept of twin flames, or you are just coming to my videos, or you were guided or drawn to my videos, and it really, really resonated with you. And the reason you felt that resonance is because your soul knows this material is meant for you. Your soul knows that what I'm sharing about applies directly to your path here on this earth. So if you are feeling that resonance, but still new to the concept of twin flames, usually what happens is, and we all go through it, by the way, I have gone through this in the past as well. When you feel the resonance, but you're just coming across twin flame material, the initial ego response, of course, is doubt. The doubt normally comes up very quickly, and usually in connection to, is this person truly a twin flame? Or is this some other type of soul connection? And determining the differences can feel so confusing and chaotic, and you may find yourself feeling so confident one day that this person is your divine counterpart, your person, your twin flame, and at other times wondering if they could just be a soulmate. And it doesn't help that there is so much information, yes, so much beautiful, wonderful information from so many magnificent, wise creators out there. But there's also a lot of conflicting guidance as well. So it can be really difficult to sift through all the information and truly solidify to yourself with confidence within your heart and soul what type of connection this is to you, who this person is to you. It's especially hard for twin flames because not only do we have that usual ego doubt, but now we also have the fact that naturally, by design, meeting this person tends to trigger a lot of our wounds, a lot of our insecurities in order to heal them. But through this triggering, we can often wonder if this person is a soul connection at all. In fact, through this triggering process, sometimes a twin flame connection could be mistaken for toxic. And I hesitate to even say that because I never advise anyone to stay in a toxic relationship, a relationship in which they are being hurt emotionally or in any kind of way. However, with that being said, from an ego perspective, there is an element of hurt that happens during the twin flame triggering stage, during the testing stage. There are times where your ego will feel hurt, where your ego will feel damaged. This is because we go through this, what we call ego death. The ego gets very triggered. It senses that it is being destroyed and replaced with a more soulful, authentic self, and it fights back really hard. And this can manifest in feelings of abandonment, anxiety, feeling insulted. And of course, all of these feelings within the twin flame connection, the difference is that they come from a space of healing, growth, and soul evolution. Now, I know I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I really want to step back and take a broad look at the differences before we get into these specific details. So let's start by just talking about why it's so hard to tell the difference. Well, specifically between twin flames and soulmates, there are a lot of similarities, especially initially. In fact, honestly, many of us are raised to think of a soulmate as a single person that we are destined to be with, to be together with. This is how I looked at soulmate relationships when I was younger. Before I knew the concept of twin flames, I always had this awareness that there was this person out there for me, and nearly all twin flames will experience this feeling, this longing. Sometimes we call it the twin flame longing or twin flame heart longing. It's like this knowing you have, a seed within your soul that knows that there is this person out there for you, this person you are destined to reunite with, to come together with. This is essentially your soul kind of having, I wanted to say shaking awake a little bit, awake to the sleep that we are put into when we are born into this world. The sleep we are put into in the sense that we have amnesia about who our twin flame is and what our purpose is and the way in which we are going to unite with this person. But although we don't consciously remember these things, that seed is still within us. We have this unconscious knowing, this soul deep knowing of this person's existence. So personally, I would have referred to this person as my soulmate, and many of you may have done this. But the way I define soulmate is actually now what I know to be the term twin flame. Because now that I've grown a lot spiritually and become more familiar with spiritual terms, again, these are all just words, but spiritual terms people use to describe different kinds of connections, I now know that what I always thought of as a soulmate is actually a twin flame connection. We could also call this a divine counterpart. And yes, some people may still refer to this as a soulmate. It's all kind of confusing for this reason because, again, the way that we usually as a society think of the word soulmate, we think of one romantic connection. We think of a divine counterpart situation. However, in the realm of spirituality, the word soulmate is actually just used to describe someone who is part of our soul family. What does this mean? This means that we have incarnated with this person, with these people, with our soulmates through lifetime after lifetime. We have essentially made a pact with all of our soulmates, with all of our soul family, with our soul tribe, that we are going to uplift, heal, and expand one another through lifetime after lifetime. We tend to stick together. So oftentimes soulmates will incarnate in one lifetime where one is the parent and one is the child. And then in the next lifetime, in order to experience a different kind of soul growth and evolution, they will flip roles. So in the next lifetime, one will be the parent and one will be the child. This is why sometimes, this is a side note, but I found this interesting. There are stories of children who will say things to their parents when they're very young. They will use this specific phrase. Maybe you've even heard this from your own kids or heard about kids saying this. They'll say, "When I was big and you were little," referring to a past life in which they were that person's parent. And again, this may not be the immediate past life. I'm not saying that all of your kids are your parents that have passed away or anything like that. This could be several lifetimes ago. But essentially, they're just referring to a time, a different lifetime, a past life, in which you were still part of the same soul family, and you actually reincarnated within the same physical family. But in that past life, they were the parent and you were the kid, or they were an older adult and you were younger. And that is just them being able to see more clearly through this veil, through this matrix, because they're too young to have a fully developed conscious mind that's been programmed by society. So again, this is just a side note, but for all of your soulmates, you will incarnate lifetime after lifetime. Now, soulmates can be platonic or romantic. So these could be friends. Oftentimes, there are members in our physical family that are also soulmates, not always, but very often. These could be literally people that you met once and just really deeply connected with and never saw again. Sometimes we don't always physically connect with our soulmates through our entire physical life. However, the key with soulmates is, regardless of if you only met once, they will leave a deep impression, almost an imprint on your soul. This really isn't a new imprint, but simply you making the unconscious connection that you have always been connected to this person. It's like when you physically connect with them, some dots will just connect within your soul, and you will have this unconscious remembering that this person is a piece of you, a part of you, a part of your soul family, someone you were destined to meet and connect with. So you will always remember this person. In a sense, you will always feel this person in your energy field, and this will manifest in different ways. So for example, I had certain platonic soulmates that I met in high school. These were completely platonic connections. We were just really good friends. Now, some of these people I have lost touch with. I haven't spoken to them in years and years, but how I know that they're my soulmates is because I continuously feel them in my energy field. So I have dated and been friends with many, many people between the time in which I had these friends and now, and we haven't been in contact at all during that time. And yet during all these phases of my life, it's like these connections came with me. I always remembered these connections very deeply. I always wondered how these people were. It's like even when we weren't speaking, even when we lived across the country from each other, I just always had this knowing, this awareness of their presence. This is because we are always aware of our soul family in a way that we aren't aware energetically of other types of connections. And because of this energetic presence, this awareness, I would actually, it sounds weird, but even being out of contact with these people, I would have recurring dreams where we were still friends, where we were still speaking. So oftentimes, I'm sharing this because with your soulmates, oftentimes you will see these manifestations of them being in your energy, even when you're out of touch. So again, with friends, these are the friends that you'll say, I feel like we just picked up right where we left off. But that's because you literally did. These could be platonic soulmates where you were actually always in this energetic communication with because they are part of your soul family. So you never actually, on a fifth dimension level, lost touch with these people. So when we meet soulmates that are romantic partners, of course, because they are part of our soul family, we naturally just connect right away. We naturally have this understanding that there's a depth to our relationship. And I am not bashing romantic soulmate relationships at all. Sometimes I feel that there's this confusion because we put twin flame connections on a pedestal and say, this is the highest form of soulmate connection. And yes, I do believe that twin flame connections are the deepest form of connection we can experience because it is truly the embodiment of that yin-yang dynamic. It is truly the path of someone experiencing a really, really accelerated soul growth. But that doesn't mean that it's better or worse than any other kind of a life path or connection. Not everyone is a twin flame. Not everyone has a twin flame. And some people intend on a soul level to simply come together with a romantic soulmate, to share a beautiful, loving relationship. And they don't want that accelerated soul evolution that some of you listening may have intended or wanted on a soul level for yourself through this twin flame connection. They don't have that longing for that depth. Now, many of you have probably experienced a romantic soulmate relationship. Nearly everyone experiences at least one of these types of connections. And as a twin flame, it's very common that one or both twin flames will connect with a romantic soulmate first before meeting their twin flame. Now, I say very common, but there is no cut and dry path. I know that often I get questions from many of you in the comments, and you'll ask, do I always have to experience an age difference? Do I always have to have a soulmate come into my life before meeting a twin flame? All of these kinds of questions. And believe me, I understand because coming to the twin flame path, I had all of the same questions. But the answer is, or it can be really frustrating because the true answer is there is no answer. There is no exact path. And this is by design. We are meant to follow different paths because we each have unique paths to our own highest soul growth and evolution. Some of us contracted, and I'll get into soul contracts in a second, or intended to experience several romantic partners, some of which were karmic, some of which were soulmates prior to meeting our twin flame. Others of us came in with the strong, solid intention to be completely celibate, to not date or romantically get involved with anyone prior to meeting our twin flame. Now, this is much more rare. This isn't the path that I chose. I experienced both a karmic relationship and a romantic soulmate relationship prior to meeting my twin flame. Now, I would like to hear from you in the comments, so let me know if you always just knew that your twin flame was the one and never connected romantically with anyone else prior to meeting them, or whether you had a karmic or a romantic soulmate relationship prior to meeting them. I always say this, but my favorite part about creating this channel, creating this space with all of you, is being able to hear your stories and thoughts and perspectives in the comments. So I hope that you'll take the time to share some of your story or some piece of yourself with all of us here. But anyway, I feel that I have shared what I know to be new knowledge or new elaboration on the soulmate, romantic soulmate versus twin flame relationship. If you'd like more fleshed out, kind of cut and dry differences, I do have several other videos on romantic soulmates versus twin flames versus karmics. But for the sake of time in this video, I do want to just get into talking about now karmics. Now, karmics are very different. Our karmic relationships, however, ironically can get mistaken for twin flame relationships. And here's why. So karmic relationships are people who aren't part of our soul family. They aren't soulmates. However, we do have soul contracts with these people, usually based on what we call past life karma. So in a past life, we may have been married to these people. We may have hurt them, or they may have hurt us in some way. So we make a soul contract prior to incarnating in this life, and we essentially say within this contract, okay, we're going to meet, we're going to have this relationship, and we are going to resolve our past life karma through this connection, as well as accelerating each other on toward our soul growth. Now, this may sound confusing because now it kind of sounds like I'm talking about twin flames, but let me elaborate, because yes, twin flames and karmics are both creating contracts with us for the purpose of soul growth and evolution. But the key difference is karmic connections will trigger us. They will trigger wounds. But once we heal these wounds, we will no longer be attracted to a karmic connection, to a karmic partner. Essentially, the magnetism, the reason we feel a pull to our karmic partners is because of either some past life karma that needs to be healed or some kind of wound within ourselves. We are attracted to our karmic partners based on mutual wounds. This is sometimes also called a trauma bond. And I know that one of you left a comment and said that twin flames seem a lot like trauma bonds. And that's actually very true in a sense that twin flames will trigger us in the same way that karmic partners will trigger us. But karmic partners, karmic relationships are truly more aligned with what we would think of as a trauma bond. This is because our karmic partners will not heal or grow with us within the connection. What I mean by this is, once we heal ourselves, we will no longer feel that attraction and we will move on. This connection will completely dissolve because the entire purpose of that karmic connection was simply to heal that wound, was to expand that part of ourselves or our lives. So let me just give an example to clarify this. Let's say that you have low self-confidence and you may have created a soul contract with a karmic partner that they were going to come into your life and mistreat you. And through that mistreatment, you would feel very triggered, but as a result of it, you would finally heal your lack of self-confidence. You would become your most confident self. And once you became your most confident self, because you had achieved the purpose of that soul contract, that karmic contract, that relationship would dissolve and you would then move on. Oftentimes, these karmic connections also prepare the way for a soulmate connection or potentially a twin flame connection. Again, this isn't always, we don't have to experience a karmic connection first, but oftentimes if there's something we really need to heal prior to meeting our twin flame or prior to meeting a romantic soulmate, in order for that person to come into our lives, we will experience a karmic connection. Now, what do karmic connections look like? Oftentimes, these are the connections that do look like trauma bonds. They're very intense. In the beginning, they are Yes, we feel this magnetic pull to these people, just like with a twin flame, just like with a soulmate. But the reason we feel this magnetism is because they are fitting like a puzzle piece with our wounds. It's like our wounds fit perfectly with their wounds. And that is why we are attracted to each other. And because of this, the relationships are not only full of this intense passion, love, enthusiasm, excitement, but they're marked by huge, exhilarating highs and deep, depressing lows. There's usually intense fighting, arguing within these connections. They look very toxic to other people, and yet they always seem to pull us back in. And the reason that we always feel pulled back into the orbit of karmic partners is because we will continue to feel that magnetism to our karmics until we heal the pattern within ourselves. When we are attracted to a karmic partner, we are attracted to a negative pattern within ourselves. We are attracted to continuing to be able to play out our wounds with this person over and over again. So of course now we have the key to telling the difference between a karmic partner and a twin flame. Because although with a twin flame, like with a karmic, of course you will experience intense connection. And because of the twin flame triggering, you can also experience high highs and low lows. You can also feel very triggered within this connection. However, this is the key difference. When you heal that negative pattern, when you heal that wound within yourself, if you are with a twin flame, that healing will deepen and expand your connection. When you heal that wound within yourself, your twin flame will heal that wound within themselves in tandem, simultaneously, and together you will grow and expand to a higher, more fulfilling, happier, better place. You will grow and expand together within that connection. With a karmic partner, when you heal that pattern or that wound within yourself, two things will happen. One, they will usually feel really threatened by your growth, really upset by your growth. They won't want you to grow, and they will not grow themselves. They will remain stagnant. They will continue to try to play out that wound and pattern even as you are completely healed. And the second thing that will happen with a karmic is when you heal, you won't feel closer to them. You won't feel a deepening of that connection. You will feel a dissolving of that connection. It will be like a magnet that just completely lost its magnetism. You will no longer be drawn to this person. You will no longer be physically or emotionally attracted to this karmic partner after you heal the pattern within yourself. And moving on will just happen naturally. It's like this person will literally just fall out of your life. So I hope this helped you to just distinguish some of the differences between these three types of connections or relationships in our lives. Do let me know in the comments if this brought you any kind of clarity or understanding looking back on your own relationships. I also want to let you know that in addition to doing these podcasts, I am also a subliminals creator. Now, I know that many of you are already using my subliminal meditation tracks, and I am so grateful for your ongoing support through your membership on my site. But for those of you who don't know, subliminals are a powerful meditation tool that you can use to essentially reprogram your own subconscious mind for anything you desire to attract, create, or manifest in your life. So on my website, I've created over 100 subliminals for all areas of life. So as you can see on the screen, I have subliminals for physical body changes, for mood shifts like confidence and happiness, for specific material manifestations like money or business success, but specifically for twin flames, because I am so passionate about the twin flame connection as a twin flame myself. I've created several subliminals designed specifically for healing, expanding, and deepening the twin flame relationship. Now, if you're just starting out, I would most highly recommend my 7-chakra twin flame clearing subliminal. I know many of you have already seen powerful, transformative results from this subliminal. But just give it a try for free for 7 days. I have a 7-day free trial available to anyone who wants to sign up. And all of that information will be linked in the description box under this video and the pinned comment. I also just wanted to share that For those of you who are members, we are just finishing up the final testing stages of an amazing new feature on our website. We are adding custom playlists. So not only are we updating and upgrading all of our audio tracks, but also you will now be able to add any subliminals you want to your own playlist. You can create as many playlists as you want. You can name them whatever you want, and you can add as many tracks as you want to these playlists. So essentially, you can play these subliminal playlists overnight for deeper subconscious mind reprogramming, or you can play them throughout the day while you're going about your day. However you want to use this tool, but I'm just so excited to share that with you all, and those should be updated, and the playlist feature should be available by either the end of this week or the beginning of next week, so keep an eye out for that. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself, and also I do hope that if I resonated with you, you will consider subscribing to this channel, joining our community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again in the next podcast.